Manhattan, the city that never sleeps, is facing major problems. The streets are clogged, the subways are bursting at the seams, and there are so many environmental concerns. But there's a new solution, a daring solution. We're talking about building an entire community on water. So what's the deal with this plan, and is it actually feasible? Let's find out. As of 2024, Manhattan is home to an estimated population of approximately 1.63 million people. This has led to a population density of around 27,346 people per square kilometer, making it one of the most densely populated areas in the world. However, these numbers only tell part of the story. During work hours, the population of Manhattan experiences a significant surge due to the influx of commuters. On weekdays, the number of people in Manhattan can swell to about 3.9 million. To put it into perspective, that's like fitting the entire cast of a Broadway show into a shoebox. Now, why the sudden surge in population, you ask? Well, it's all thanks to the irresistible pull of Manhattan's economic strength. With Wall Street at its core, Manhattan is the financial heartbeat of New York City, hosting the New York Stock Exchange and a myriad of other major companies and financial institutions. This concentration of economic activity draws in a large workforce from all corners of the city and beyond, like moths to a flame. Sadly, with such a massive influx of people each day, Manhattan's infrastructure is feeling the strain. In response to these challenges, Jason Bear has proposed the new Manhattan Plan. It's about reimagining the way we inhabit our cities, making them not just places to live and work, but places to thrive. So what would this new Manhattan look like? First off, Barr's main goal with New Manhattan is to tackle two major issues facing Manhattan: housing affordability and climate change. The truth is, New York City is in a bit of a pickle. The demand for housing is off the charts, driving rents to astronomical heights. We're talking nearly $4,000 per month on average, which is more than double the national average. On the other hand, there's the issue of climate change knocking on our door, and it's not bringing flowers. With rising sea levels, coastal flooding, and storm surges on the horizon, New York City is about as vulnerable as a house of cards in a windstorm. And to top it off, scientists are predicting some major shakeups in the Atlantic Ocean currents that could turn our weather patterns upside down. Remember Hurricane Sandy in 2012? That was a real eye-opener. Record-breaking waves, devastating flooding, and 2 million people left in the dark. Not to mention Manhattan's subway system taking a dip and 6 hospitals throwing in the towel. It was a huge reality check. Studies are saying that by the year 2100, almost half of the buildings in Lower Manhattan will be at risk from storm surges, and 20% of its streets could be doing the backstroke on a daily basis. But this new Manhattan project is a chance to turn the tide on the housing crisis and protect our beloved city from the wrath of climate change. By creating this new area, he envisions providing housing for nearly 250,000 people and offering significant protection against sea level rise, flooding, and storm surges. So how does Barr plan to achieve this ambitious project? Well, for starters, he wants to push vulnerable areas like Wall and Broad Streets inland and incorporate wetlands to absorb storm surges. And let's not forget about building land at higher elevations for added protection. But it's not just about housing and protection. Barr also has big plans for the types of constructions that could be included in New Manhattan. We're talking about diverse housing options, nearly 180,000 new units, and a mix of residential, commercial, and recreational spaces. It's like creating a whole new mini Manhattan, right in the heart of the city. Now you might be wondering about the economic feasibility of such a grand project. Bear has already thought about that too. He points out that the high value of New York real estate could fund the project through sales or long-term leases. With building sales at $1,500 per square foot versus $500 construction costs, the profit could cover land and infrastructure expenses. But what about the environmental impact? Bear has that covered as well. By incorporating wetlands and marshlands around the perimeter, New Manhattan would be better equipped to absorb storm surges and protect against rising sea levels. And when it comes to sustainability, the New Manhattan idea is all about green buildings, renewable energy sources, and efficient public transportation systems. It's like creating a mini utopia within Manhattan, where the air is cleaner, the energy is greener, and the commute is smoother. Of course, it wouldn't be a proper expansion without some public spaces thrown into the mix, new parks, Waterfront promenades and recreational areas would provide residents and visitors with ample green space and opportunities for outdoor activities. So you might be wondering, how much is this going to cost? Well, according to Jason Bear, the price tag for constructing the land for New Manhattan is estimated to be around $34 billion, and that's not even including any buildings. Yes, it's a hefty sum, but Bear is confident that this project will eventually pay for itself. New Manhattan has faced its fair share of criticism. Some have called it too big, vague, extreme, and unrealistic. There are even those who have labeled it as galaxy-brained, insinuating that it's more of a wild fantasy than a concrete proposal. According to Bear, creating New Manhattan would require approximately 130 million cubic meters of landfill. Sounds like a daunting task, doesn't it? Well, consider this. The United States already moves more than double that amount each year during routine dredging projects. So, redirecting a portion of that landfill to New York could make the island a reality in no time. And just to hold everything in place, some sheet piling would do the trick. The full realization of New Manhattan could take 30 years or more. It's a long-term vision. Well, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither will New Manhattan. So what do you think about the New Manhattan? Let's know in the comments section.